Hi everyone, Jen from Modified Macros here, and I wanted to just jump in quick today to talk to you guys about some of the big reasons why you might not be. Hi everyone, Jen from Modified Macros here. Today I wanted to talk to you guys about some reasons why you might not be losing weight on your ketogenic journey. So these are just some of the reasons that pop up a lot in my group that have come up as conversations with my nutritionist, and I just wanted to share with you guys some of the advice that I have and what I see. The number one reason that I see people not actually losing weight on their ketogenic journey, they're not in ketosis. So here's how this happens. The urine strips are okay to be utilized, you guys, to find out if you're in keto. I know some people are really against them. I think that they're a really economic way to test if you're in ketosis. But what happens is people see the large amounts and they're like, wow, I'm in a large amount of ketosis. Look at all these ketones. But that's not what's actually happening there. You actually want to be in the trace to moderate, and moderate would be like the very highest you would want to be in. And here's why. Those strips are showing you expelled ketones. Those are ketones that your body has not used, so your body has expelled them. They're not being utilized. They're not used for fat burning. You're just letting them go. So when those strips are high, it means your body is expelling a lot, but that doesn't necessarily correlate to the fact that your body is making a lot. It usually means you're just letting them go, which is sad. So you want them to be in that trace to moderate amount. Then you will start using those ketones to utilize fat burning in your fat adapted state. Some ways that you guys can tell you're in ketosis without the urine strips: when you have increased energy, when you're sleeping better, you'll notice your appetite goes down. For me, I always get super thirsty when I get into a higher state of ketosis. You can buy a blood meter if you are planning on sticking with keto for a long time. It's a great investment. I always like to double check those, and sure enough, every time my blood ketones are high, my urine strips are low, and every time my blood levels are low, I notice my urine strips might be a little bit higher. So the number one reason I see people not losing weight on their ketogenic journey, especially in the beginning or after they've had a mess up, is because they're not actually in a state of ketosis, but they think they are. The next reason I see people not losing weight is they have the wrong macros. This happens two different ways. One, they're not eating enough, or two, they're eating way too much. So the first thing I see people do is they try to biohack or figure out a way to take a shortcut on their ketogenic journey, and they slash their calories. This is actually going to hurt you in more than one way. I'm going to talk about the other one later, but it doesn't help you guys. You have to eat fat to lose fat on the ketogenic diet. And if you slash your calories, I see people at 1,000, 1,100, 1,200 calories that should be way higher than that. And they're thinking, if I'm only eating that much, it must be doing something. But it doesn't. That is going to severely hurt your weight loss and can cause you to even stall for longer than if you had them in the right place. You have to remember for keto that calories don't work exactly the same. And what I mean by that is they're not beholden to that calorie in, calorie out rule that exists with carbohydrates and glucose. That's because fat is more calorie dense than carbohydrates and glucose, which means you can intake more calories than you expel technically and still lose weight. So I need you guys to get out of that mindset that lower is better. Embrace the fact that we get to eat food on keto, but not too much, because the second part of this is people who eat too much. This usually happens because they think keto is a free-for-all. It almost always happens with people who don't follow or track their macros closely, or they had a bad macro calculator. You guys, it's really important, especially when you're first starting, especially when you're trying to get fat adapted, to use those macros as a roadmap to get you into ketosis, to get you fat adapted, and to make sure that you are maintaining that. So eating too much or just thinking, well, it's keto approved, I can have it, is usually what happens with people who are eating too much. And almost always they're eating too much fat. meat and cheese, that type of thing, and they don't even realize it. Or they mislabel what they're putting in, so they're eating a huge steak and they're marking it as only a 6-ounce portion, which is about the size of your palm, and they're eating like a New York strip steak. So sometimes that happens too. So just be really conscious about what you're putting into your app and make sure that you're tracking your macros correctly. The next one is too much protein. You guys have to remember keto is a moderate protein diet. It is not high protein, that is Atkins. It's really important to stay in that 20 to 25% ratio for your protein. There's a lot of reasons that can happen. I know people talk about glucogenesis and that happening. I think that was pronounced right, where your liver starts converting protein into sugar and then your body uses that. It actually takes a lot of protein to get to that. But most importantly, when you throw off your ratios, it can throw off how your body's utilizing the fat that it's getting. So make sure you keep this low protein. It's also better for your liver health and just overall for your macros to work. Make sure you're staying in there because eating too much protein can stall or stop you. Eating too much or too little carbs. That's right, I said too little carbs. That can happen. So I personally follow cyclical keto. I do have other videos about that. I have a higher carb day. I do have Hashimoto's. I have a compromised thyroid. My nutritionist made it very clear that I would be doing cyclical keto from day one. That is because the thyroid and adrenals do need carbohydrates to make their hormones. So if you have a compromised thyroid or you have an autoimmune or a hormonal imbalance, sometimes you actually need to up your carbs. Also, sometimes your body just works better that way. I know Bulletproof Blog does a great job about talking about their cyclical keto diet. It's just an extra carb up day. I go between 50 and 100 net carbs. My carbs per day are at 26 net. That is my goal. Well, not my goal. That's my limit. I'm sorry. My goal is to just eat as many carbs as I can have to be satisfied. Sometimes I hit it, sometimes I don't. So that carb up day is really important for me. And I've had amazing results since adding it. So sometimes you're not losing weight because your thyroid and your adrenals are starved, and adding that can help. Also, sometimes the body just likes that little juxtaposition of, oop, carbs, now it's gone again, that depletion. It's something that's used a lot by nutritionists and other eating programs. So it could just be that you're not eating enough carbs. The other one is you're eating too many carbs. There can be hidden carbs in everything. I already touched on portion size for protein. It happens with carbs too. We track things as what we think we're eating. We guess things. Sometimes the apps and the trackers aren't exact. My best advice for you to make sure that you're not eating too many carbs is to choose whole, real foods, because there are too many places that can be hidden in processed foods, too many ingredients that you might not recognize as being a carb. It might not show on the nutrition label, but your body feels it. Hone in, dialing your nutrition for a week, really track what you're eating, and then see at the end of that week if you're starting to get back into a losing streak, and then it could be that you were eating too many carbs. It happens to the best of us, you guys, me being one of those people. There's something called leptin. It's what tells your brain that you're full. And if you're resistant to that, then it can cause you to stall, stop, or not even start at all. So irregular sleep patterns, stress, overeating for long periods of time, extreme caloric restrictions. So if you drop your calories, if you're eating like 1,700 calories and you drop to 1,200 thinking, I'm going to lose so much weight on keto doing this, it shocks your body and it actually causes you to stop losing weight. The good news is you can heal it. You guys, it takes about 6 to 8 weeks for the body to heal that. It's the same with systemic inflammation. These two kind of are in the same realm. If you have a lot of systemic inflammation, if you have underlying health conditions, if you had a traumatic surgery like a hysterectomy or your gallbladder removed, something to the body, if you've just been overweight for a while, diabetes, anything like that that can cause systemic inflammation, it takes a while to heal. The good news is ketones naturally heal inflammation. They naturally heal systemic inflammation. So 6 to 8 weeks and you'll start seeing results. You guys just have to be patient and stick with it. If you already know you're resistant, if you already know you have a lot of systemic inflammation, I know it's really hard, you guys. Trust me, I know. When you see everyone else losing 20, 30, 40 pounds in 2 months and you're at 2. But if you wait, it will come. You just have to let your body heal. Think about it. You're rewriting your entire metabolic blueprint that you've been following your entire life to this point, with glucose and carbs being your main source of energy. You're changing it to fat and ketones. Give yourself that time. I promise, it will be worth it. You will feel better. You will look better. You will hit your goals. My next one kind of goes with this too, you guys. Undiagnosed medical condition, or a medical condition that you're choosing to just ignore, or you're not properly treating through the ketogenic diet. So I do have a compromised thyroid. That is an underlying medical condition. I have to adjust all the time because of that. If you have hormonal deficiencies, like premenopausal, postmenopausal, that can cause it. You guys, again, with time, it will heal. With time, it will work. But if you find yourself trying to switch everything around and nothing seems to be working, you could have one of these issues. I am not a doctor. Please don't take my advice as medical advice. My actual advice to you is go see a doctor. I think that finding a nutritionist that specializes in the ketogenic diet is completely worth the money. By the way, out of pocket, most insurances will cover at least one visit where you can go and have a professional look at your macros. Go to your doctor and ask for blood work to be done. Ask to get a full physical. Find out your state of being before you go into the ketogenic diet. Or if you're having a lot of issues losing weight or not feeling quite right, you could have one of these issues that were being kind of covered up by everything else that you had going on. So my best advice, find a doctor, find a nutritionist, and see if that might be one of the issues. And then the last one I don't get enough of ever because I'm the mother of a toddler, sleep. You guys, sleep is critical to life in general. But for the ketogenic diet, it is so hormone sensitive that you really want to make sure that your cortisol levels from stress and sleep and everything are on track. Make sleep a priority. I promise you, you will be a better person for it. You will have a better keto journey. You will have a better life journey. You will be a better parent. You will be a better spouse or partner. You'll be a better employee. Sleep will do that. That is where your body heals. That is when all of the keto magic happens. That is your time. So if you mess up your sleep or you have irregular sleep patterns, it will slow things down. Carve it out. Make it a priority. I drastically changed my sleep patterns when I started keto, and I can't even tell you, I wish I had done it sooner. I don't get as much as I want because I do have a toddler going through a sleep regression right now, but I still make it a point to get to bed early, to have that downtime, to have that relaxed time, and to make sure I'm well rested as much as I possibly can be. I see a huge difference on weeks where my son keeps me up and I'm up with him because he's not feeling well, to weeks where I pass him off to my husband and I'm actually getting good sleep. Make it a priority. It can impact your weight loss. Okay guys, so those are my biggest things that I see overall, the most prevalent in the group. I have more information on them, but I wanted to keep this video shorter. If you have questions, as always, throw them down in the comments. I'll get back to you. You can always DM me. I'm very active over on my Facebook page at Modified Macros, so it's easy for you to get a hold of me. If you message me, I will get back to you. And thanks for tuning in, you guys.